picking up the extra 3 second rounders and still getting a guy that you liked who was there earlier in the draft in Ryan Dunn?
I thought tonight was a good night for us. We came into the game, to the draft with a couple of objectives. We wanted to get more athletic, defensively on the perimeter. We wanted to add some size, and some youth. And I thought that we were able to do two things tonight: get the player that we wanted, moving back, and pick up other assets and capital for the future to continue to allow us to have more resources to build the team for the long term.
Next up is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, followed by Brendan Mao.
Hey, James, good to be speaking with you tonight. I was curious with Dunn specifically with the numbers for him shooting at Virginia. I was wondering during the workout process what you guys saw to have some faith in him as a shooter long term, because as we know, the defensive potential for him is pretty large.
No, he's improving, and what he was asked to do at Virginia was to defend, and he relied on his athleticism. The shooting isn't where he wanted it to be, or where we think it will be in a few years. But he's an impactful player, and great players find a way to impact the game, not just with the offensive box score. And so I'm confident with our staff, with Bud, our coaches, that will allow him, or he'll be primed to improve as a shooter. And if he can do that and do it quickly, I think we found a gem.
Next up is Brendan Mao with Burn City Sports. Brendan.
Sorry about that. Yeah, James. So have you had any conversations with Dunn since you got drafted? And what were your conversations with him like beforehand that you saw this fit working out with him?
Yeah, so we spoke to him. I spoke to him post draft. He's excited. He can't wait to get here. I know how badly he wanted to be here in Phoenix. We had some time during the draft process when he worked out for us to sit and talk for 30 minutes just about his journey as a player and what he needed to do to be effective on this level. And I think it goes without saying, if you ask his coaches, his opponents, the kid's a tireless worker, and I'm fairly confident with this team, with the players that we have, the coaching staff, that it'll be a great fit for him. And he saw that fit, and most importantly, he was adamant. Like his desire is to become an elite defender in this league first and foremost, and that's something that I think we can really benefit from.
Next up is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic.
Thank you, James. Just really quick, a couple things. One, when you look at Dunn as a defender, what you guys dealt with McDaniels last year in the playoffs from the Timberwolves, you see similarities in terms of him being able to be that kind of impact on that end, the way McDaniels was for the T-Wolves?
No, I mean, he's different. I think
okay.
You have to give Jaden McDaniels. I mean, you got to give McDaniels credit. He's about 6'9", a crazy, tenacious defender who's had an opportunity to really grow. But I see a ton of potential in Ryan. I think for him, he's a little bit shorter, and I think that'll allow him to navigate screens a lot better as a younger player. But if that's where he progresses to, that's the goal for us, to have an elite lockdown defender, or at least someone that can take the challenge every day and make it extremely difficult on the opponent's best scorer.
Another thing I just had, obviously, with the draft being the focal point, but with what's been out there as far as with Kevin Durant in terms of looking at, well, they're saying it, the talk was that he wanted out, and then obviously HBO kind of shot that down. I'm just curious what you see with all of that.
Nothing. I mean, it's the question, it's the topic of discussion, it's the stuff that gets clicks and that everyone wants to talk about. But I think I said it specifically back on May 19th when I was asked, are we trading Kevin Durant? I said no then, I'll say no now. I'll continue to get asked the question. But that's the NBA. That's what makes the NBA and the draft and everything around it, the offseason. That's what makes it interesting for the fans. So I get it and understand it, and I don't take it personally. We just keep moving, committed to building this team and winning a championship.
Next up is Dana Scott with the Arizona Republic.
Hi, James. Just wanted to know if DaRon Holmes, I know that you made the selection for him before you moved him to Denver, but was his being a hometown kid in Phoenix, did that play a factor in selecting him, or just the fact that he's the last one since Ayton to be selected by Phoenix, being from Phoenix?
No, I mean that was a part of the trade to Denver. Just so you know how it works is if once you agree to a trade on draft night, you draft for the other team, and they tell you who they want. And Denver was high on DaRon, and they thought that he wouldn't be there, so we were able to make a trade that allowed them to get the player that they wanted, and allowed us to move back and still get the player that we wanted.
We got time for two more. We'll go to Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports.
Hey, James, just wanted to follow up on Ryan's versatility again, just with what he's able to do on offense and defense. And offensively, is this a guy that you anticipate using as a screener a little bit with what he can do at his size? And then defensively, I imagine you anticipate he can defend guards, like the positional versatility range is pretty high.
Yeah, I think you'll see once we get into the season. I think he'll do a lot of that. I mean, I think it's the versatility, one, that he provides, but then two, the versatility of our offense. I think you'll see we want all of our guys to be screeners. You create mismatches sometimes with guards screening on bigs, big screening on guards, and guards screening for each other. And so he's just one of those guys that if you do get him in a screening situation, he has the athleticism and the burst to be able to get to the rim and finish.
Last question is going to be Cameron Cox with 12 News.
Hey, James, hope all is well. I got two for you real quick. Just what's it been like to work with Mike and kind of have him along and kind of just build this thing? And then second, just so everybody can hear it, what is the relationship with KD and how much have you enjoyed working with him over this time and how much do you enjoy looking forward to what you guys can do?
I've enjoyed, I mean, Bud's been awesome. I've always had a ton of respect for Bud as a competitor, but now being able to sit on this side of it, I truly see why he's one of the NBA's best coaches and why he's had so much success. He loves it. He loves everything about it, and he loves his guys. And so the passion that he has for it, you can't fake it. And then with KD, it's all love. It's all good. Like having a chance to work with one of the all-time greatest players, and the success that we'll have going forward, is what you live for. It's what you embrace and what you want. So, like I said, really excited about the team that we're building, upstairs, downstairs, and everywhere in between, and just looking forward to the season.
All right. Thank you, James.